Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 362. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
Yeah, what is going on, good sir?
I don't know. Another week has gone, and I don't.
Is it-
I honestly, I don't know where it went because I wasn't here.
Yeah, no, these weeks are going quick. The weekends are going even faster, which is I don't like that
Hmm.
because my weekends go super fast when things are not going well. So I gotta try and get something into check, but because this we're flying by here.
Yeah, not cool. Well, all the more reason to have 3-day weekends every week.
But we're here right now, so that's what we're here for,
Yes,
and we're
we
gonna have a
are.
good show, good episode, and we're gonna get right into it
Yep.
because one of us might be falling asleep shortly. So,
I don't know which one you're talking. Probably the cat at my feet right now.
oh,
Right.
adorable.
Well, he missed me. I've been gone all week. Right? Haven't I been gone all week? Yes, I've been
Oh,
gone all
him.
week.
Look at him.
Oh,
Look at that.
look
Oh,
at
he's
this.
ready to kill.
He wants attention. So yeah, it's been a week. I went
Yes.
shopping.
That's good. Let's get right into that. I
I
heard you
went
did.
shopping.
Yes. Would you pick
Yeah,
up anything good?
I went to go visit our friends up north,
Okay.
the Canadians.
Our attic.
Yeah, yes, our attic. I saw Terrence and Philip
Oh,
and a few other
nice.
people. Yes, I made a lot of buddies while I was up there.
Hey, buddy.
Buddy.
Can we have
But
a
while
whole
I,
episode? No, never mind.
no,
Okay, go.
no, I'm not doing a whole episode in Canadian.
I know a few people up there.
So anyway, so I went to Canada for the week.
Hmm.
And while I was up there, I wasn't intending to go video game shopping this week,
Okay.
but we just so happened to stop by I guess one of their Goodwill stores there.
Okay.
But they're called Value Village. So
That is an awesome name.
right? That's what I said. I go, it's better than like Salvation Army or Goodwill, where it's like, no, it's Value Village. So it's like, oh, what kind of value? Secondhand. Okay. So we were at Value Village. And I
It
was just
still
like,
sounds
oh,
like a Civil War era,
it does. It
like
really
monument.
does.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm here. I go, I might as well look for video games since I'm here. And
Hmm.
you never know what you're gonna find when you go to a Goodwill because
Or Value
actually
Village.
or Value Village.
Yeah.
There's actually a piece in my retro news that I was going to share later, but you know what? I'll share it now.
Okay.
For example, a video game collector was in a Goodwill and he found a prototype of the Philips CDI Hotel Mario game.
Seriously?
Yep.
What?
Yep. It was just
That
hiding
is
in a
insane.
Goodwill. So he bought it at Goodwill for nothing.
Yeah,
It
Goodwill
was
has no idea what they have.
No, they really don't. So it's Hotel Mario version 0.09.
Wow.
So it was literally the prototype of the game.
Yeah.
Somehow found its way into Goodwill and this collector saw it and
That's
grabbed it. So all the more reason why I like to go to these places or
I
when
don't
I'm
blame you.
around them and I just see them there, I'm like, oh, let me pop in and just see if they have video games. Now, I went in, they had some video games in a case that were, in my opinion, a little overpriced because some
Okay.
places they'll actually do the legwork and look them
Yeah.
up and then
Yeah.
be like, oh, these are worth, I'm gonna throw all this up.
Hmm.
But I did manage to grab 6 games for my
Oh,
collection.
wow. Holy
Yeah, so
cow. Okay.
they had a lot more than that, but I just went with these 6.
Yeah.
Um, some of them not super, they were all roughly the same price too. So
Okay.
and some of them, fairly common things that people don't necessarily collect,
Hmm.
like sports games. So like for example, I doubled my PlayStation 3 collection. I now have 8 instead of 4.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got NHL 2K7
Very good.
for
Very nice.
PlayStation 3, and naturally,
It is complete. Look at
complete.
that.
I did find that Canadians take care of their things, which
Wow.
is nice.
Okay. Very good.
Also on the PlayStation 3 to continue the trend, I saw NHL 13 up there, so I grabbed
Might
that.
as well keep going.
Yeah, I guess I guess
They like that hockey.
well, they love their hockey, but I guess they give them up when they don't have Canadians on the cover. This is a Philadelphia
Oh,
Flyers
okay.
player, so out it goes. And then this one was San Jose Sharks.
Ah,
So goodbye. So grab those 2. Also on PS3, a game I've never owned and will add to my collection. I think I think completes my collection for the Grand Theft Auto series. I got GTA 4.
You never. Oh, GTA 4. Okay.
4. I
Okay.
got
Yeah.
GTA
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Did not 5.
No.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
GTA 4 for PS3.
All right. Very good. Very good.
And then last but not least, this is probably the one I'm most excited about trying out because I've never played any of these games.
It's always fun. I found it recently, like when I go shopping to pick
Mhm.
up game. It's one thing to pick up a game that you used to have and then lost or something. Like me, my whole
Yeah.
collection was gone. But then to find one that you never owned before and to pick it up, there is something
Yes.
different about that when you pick that one.
Yes. Yeah, and that's this one. This was the one I was most that I was actually most intrigued by was UFC 2009
Oh
Undisputed.
wow. Okay.
So I've never played any of the UFC games, so I'm really
Neither have
curious
I,
about
but I
that.
heard they're good.
Yeah, and there's
For the most
Destruction
part.
Brooklyn and everything.
Very
So
nice. Very nice.
so I got those four for PS3.
Okay.
Then there were a couple of for Xbox 360. One of these games I owned, and then the other one was a sequel that I never bought, and now I'm really excited because I love the first version of the game. And if you like Dante's Inferno, this may be another game for you to pick
Oh
up and
man, I still
try
got to get through Dante's Inferno.
after you get through Dante's Inferno. This is the next series to pick up,
Okay.
which I got Darksiders
Oh
and
yes.
Darksiders 2 for
Yes.
360.
Actually, I do
Let's shine on
own.
that.
Yeah, no, right? Those are
That's
some
all glory. Some
what
shiny
do they call
games.
that? LinkedIn?
Glare,
I don't know. Um,
lenticulars.
almost, yeah.
Yeah. So there it
Darksiders,
is with my receipt.
yep. Darksiders 2, I know I definitely own,
Yep.
which I never played. I
Ta-da.
gotta have Darksiders 1 somewhere.
Yeah, so I really
Because it wouldn't
enjoyed
make sense
Dark.
for me to buy just two.
I really enjoyed the first Darksiders.
Okay.
So, and I know they made three of them. To my under, if I
Yeah,
remember
they did
correctly.
because I think I had
Yeah.
three. I think some I ended up. I think I bought the first one, and the other two I might have gotten like through like games with gold or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I don't know.
So yeah, so that's what I picked up. My collection has now increased by six.
Wow. All right. Very good.
Um,
Very good.
yeah, so very happy with these purchases. And
Excellent.
again, with the conversion rate, when I figured out how much I spent for them, I was like, okay, that's a good deal.
Dirt cheap, my friend. Dirt
Yes,
cheap.
I was very, very happy with my purchases.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, all right. Excellent. Excellent.
Hmm.
I didn't. This is one of the few weeks I didn't pick anything up. I don't think
Mm,
anything came in the mail. I didn't buy
really,
it.
nothing.
Nothing. I don't. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
No. I got
Oh, I did have
Bike
a
Scrambler. That's about it.
oh, I do have an update. Because last week, this is actually kind of fun because while I was driving
I hope it is
home,
fun.
well,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, no. While I was driving home, I was listening to last week's podcast. Now I'm actually listening to our show. It took me like 6 years
It
before I
does. Yeah,
started
he
listening.
doesn't like listening back.
I don't like listening to my voice. I
No.
really don't. So and plus I congratulate everybody who does listen to my voice because I know there's some extra effort there. But
This is my voice on TV.
I was listening to the podcast last week and I had mentioned that I got the Power Base Mini,
Oh yeah.
but when we recorded, I hadn't used it yet.
Oh yes, yes,
So
yes.
so I did use it on my Retro Freak.
Okay.
It copied all four of my Sega Master System games to the Retro Freak. They file them under the Mega Drive because it doesn't have
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah,
Master
all
System
right, fair
section.
enough.
So
Yeah.
just copied right over to the Mega Drive section on the Retro Freak,
Okay.
and they all work fine.
Perfect.
So,
Awesome.
yep. So works really well. Recommend it for anybody who needs one. Power Base Mini. Play your Master
Yeah.
System games on your
It's
Genesis if you have one.
it's a very inexpensive way. I actually have the original power base converter, more as just a collector's.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get the power base mini, which works on original Genesis systems, then works on the Retron 5 and the Retro Freak.
Mhm.
So definitely well worth it. Now you have to see if an original Master System controller will work on the Retro Freak. I imagine it would.
I did get the controller adapter to it. I'm just not sure I don't think a Master System one would be on there.
You never know. We'll
But I'll
see.
check it out.
Yeah, something to
Never know.
try. But excellent to hear. So that's very good. All right. So check
Hmm.
them out over at Rondo Productions.
Yes.
So, all right, excellent. We're gonna get right into it. Why
Hmm.
wait? Because last week, and it was funny because I even said it last week. I'm like, when we come up with a topic while we're talking, and by the way, last week's topic, or not even last week's discussion, that was completely on the fly and just organically showed up out of nowhere. A lot of people actually enjoyed, messaged and enjoyed that conversation of just us talking about our collections.
Mhm.
Even if it was just number wise,
Yes,
talking about that. And because of that conversation, basically all week I've started updating and recalibrating, if you will, my collection, which I just use a simple spreadsheet
of
on
course.
Apple numbers, and to the point where I actually now updated like my Xbox 360, my Xbox Series X games, and like all like anything digital that I have and stuff, I kind of started throwing in, and I'm color coordinated and everything. And go, we're not gonna get into another. I just want to
No.
mention this because I mentioned this in the chat, and I'm still
Yep.
flabbergasted by the number. When I was going through it, when I got to the Switch, I counted, not counting loose, but digitally, I have 461 digital Nintendo Switch games.
Wow. Wow. That's absurd.
I mean, a lot of them
But then
were.
again,
You know what it is? A lot of them were, I buy a lot of them on sale, and sometimes they drop real good.
yep.
Christmas is at one. I forgot the name of the company that like has like 12 days of gaming or something like that. In like the last 2 years, you're able to
Oh
get those
yeah, I
games.
did. I didn't do it last year. I did it the
Yeah.
year before.
And also the system's been out for like 7 or so years, maybe even longer than
Hmm.
that at this point. No, 7 years probably.
About
And
I think 2017 when
just
it came
about,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but still, it was
I'm
it
gonna
was
double check that because someone
Oh,
will
of course.
correct us.
Yeah, fact check us. Absolutely. Um, and again, a bunch of them may be free, but still, it was wild. And a lot of games, and I also, when I was looking through it, like a lot of games sometimes, like, I remember buying for like a nickel
Oh yeah,
some of these games.
they
Yeah.
because they have
So,
some crazy sales
but
sometimes,
it
you
was
know.
that when I counted that up and looked at the number, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's not even, I even mentioned in the chat, that's not even counting, that's just counting titles. Forget
Hmm.
about like the compilations where there's
Oh yeah.
additional games in there. Um,
Oh, for
but
sure. March 3rd, 2017.
okay, yep.
So
So
it'll
there you
be
go.
7 years in a week.
Yep. Oh, I remember watching that first video.
Yep. Well, it came out at the right time for me too because I was doing a lot of international travel,
Yep.
and that's why Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, I plowed through those like
All right, well,
crazy.
one good game. That's good.
Yep. Two
So
two great games actually.
yeah.
One that won Game of the Year, multiple awards. Absolutely
Odyssey, I think,
amazing
did win a
for
few. Yeah, yeah.
Odyssey won a few, but Breath of the Wild won a lot more than that.
And then
And really quickly before
yeah,
you
yeah,
move on from that,
yeah.
just I want to give a quick shout out about our topic for last week
Mm,
because we had asked people to submit their list of games
yeah.
and stuff like that. And on Instagram, the Unfun Gamer was kind enough to send us a screenshot of his collection. He actually uses an app called Game Eye,
Okay.
which is interesting because you might want something like this because he sent a video showing his collections. It has sections for games, systems, peripherals,
Really?
toys, and print media.
How did I miss this
So
video? Okay.
yeah, so I'm definitely curious about actually looking at this one now because it'll hold more. So
Okay.
I may switch from CLZ to Game Eye. So
Uh-oh.
thank you, Unfun Gamer, for sharing your list, which includes, by the way, 1,784 games.
He has a, I think,
He's got
I
a
don't want to
ton.
say he has a full collection of NES, but he's darn near close to it, I
He
think.
has 88% of all NES games.
I would say that's darn
Whatever.
near close. Okay.
Yeah, that's really close. I'm trying to catch the number. He sent a video and it goes through really quickly.
How did I miss a video?
He has
Which is going to be
600
weird for me to say. Go ahead.
603. It looks like it says
603. Okay.
603. That's a healthy
Okay.
number.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
crazy. So thank you
that's
for
pretty good.
sharing your collection. He also has 38 systems.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I would
So
love to get into that gaming
yeah.
room of his. Forget about
Yep.
it.
And Game Eye also gives you an estimated value for the whole collection,
Oh, I've
which is
seen
kind of
those.
cool
Yeah, that
too.
used to be like when my pops used to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so now I'm gonna look at Game Eye and see if I can put that one together if it's better than the one I have.
Yeah,
Um,
no, definitely send us photos. We definitely enjoy that. And yeah, definitely interact with us on the Facebook page. We'll drop all that stuff later, the Instagram page.
all that fun stuff.
But very good stuff. I am never gonna come near that close to an NES collection, I'll tell you that much.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. The closest. The I don't even know the best chance I have of collecting like a full system. I know yours is going to be the horrible Virtual Boy, but
How dare you? Look, I
yeah.
just found out, and that was the link I sent in our chat before we started recording, that
Hmm.
apparently there's an update for a I already forgot what I call it. It's called, this is literally happening like a half hour before we started recording. But I saw like this updated emulator for the 3DS that supposedly plays like flawlessly Virtual Boy games. So
Yes.
now I've contacted our resident guru. I got to find a separate 3DS that I can play around with.
Hmm.
Because again, the biggest blunder Nintendo has ever done, besides putting out said system, is
Hmm.
not releasing 3DS games. Excuse me, Virtual Boy games on the 3DS. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, I think there was a perfect reason for not doing it since they were all terrible. So
Wario Land Virtual Boy definitely in contention for one of the best platformers ever.
okay. Let's not waste our time talking about this.
Well, luckily for game Virtual Boy games, I only have one of those. You can't buy those multiple copies of those over
No,
various
because
systems.
they never released them on other systems
No,
because
they
they were
didn't.
terrible.
They did not, but we're gonna get right into it for this week. And you know, it's funny. I don't know why we always kind of like beat around the bush, thing like, oh, we're not gonna mention what the topic is before. And other podcasts do this, and two
Yeah.
middle-aged guys, friends of ours, try and work it all out. Great podcasts. They always do it every week. They're like, well, you all know what we're gonna talk about because you see it when you clicked on the link to listen to the episode or watch.
Yes.
So but nevertheless, we're going to talk about games and something we mentioned last week. Anthony threw it out. We're actually delivering, probably for the first time.
Hmm.
Talking about games that we've actually repurchased over multiple systems.
Yes.
And when doing the research on this, I'm sure I have more games, but the
So
list
yeah, same.
the list I already came up with was already more than I was expecting.
Hmm.
Title wise and number of systems.
Hmm.
So
Well, title, just really quickly, title wise, how many did you come up with?
just and this again wasn't
Just,
even going heavy into it.
yeah.
One, two,
Oh, you wrote it down?
yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Nine
Nine.
games I picked.
Oh, you picked nine. Okay. I
All
so
came
I
across.
yeah,
Yeah.
I went through my full collection like
Hmm.
that I had on my app.
Yeah.
And then I literally was just like writing it in Microsoft Word. So, and I was doing a bulleted list, so I had the numbers on it. So I thought maybe you would do something like that. But
This is how I work. This
no, I,
works
I
perfectly.
understand that. I was like, but see, I was able to get a lot of information down really, really quickly. I was very surprised with the overall number. I have purchased multiple copies of at least, because this may not be the whole thing,
Mm.
at least 49 games.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm not going through that full list.
No, no.
Most of them are like on two systems. Like
And
I have
that's
two copies.
expected. I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, but multiple
Yeah.
like and let me ask you a question. Like, did I count it? I don't think I did.
I
I
didn't
made
I
it,
didn't
but
I didn't necessarily count compilations
no,
on all of them either.
I did.
It depended.
Depends on the game, and some situations
Like,
ended up being like a remaster, but still
well,
like nothing changed with the game.
yeah,
So,
because like if I went through like my Atari anniversary collection, Atari 50th, like I have like three, four, five copies
oh,
of the same Atari game.
I didn't even bother with that. Yeah,
No, no,
because
but
I know.
that's what I
No,
mean.
no, no, no.
Like,
You're right.
you
Yeah.
know,
So, but
so
these are like some of like bigger titles
yes.
that I found. We're gonna get, let's get right into it. Why keep dancing around it? I don't know if you want to kind of just go back and forth on it and just,
Sure. I have a top 10.
okay. I'm just well, like what is your first game
All right.
or your number
So,
10?
well, here's what I have. I have nine games that I own at least three copies of, and I have one game I own four.
Wow.
So
Okay. Yeah, I also just to say
go.
I made it a point where it's games that I bought at least over three different systems.
Okay,
Oh
got
yeah.
it. All right, cool. So I'm gonna mention two off the bat because like some of them I'm kind of grouping a little bit.
Okay.
And these were the two wrestling games that I have three copies of. WWF Attitude from the
Okay.
90s. I have it on PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, and Sega Dreamcast. I have all three copies of it.
I forgot it came out on Dreamcast at
The
first.
one that I personally owned was for PlayStation when it first came out.
Yes, I
Because,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, WWF games at the time, or wrestling games in general, bought them day of.
Mm,
So PlayStation was the first one to come out.
okay.
The other wrestling game that I have three copies of, which is worth a laugh, is WrestleMania, the arcade game. I have it. I have it for Super Nintendo, PlayStation, and PC.
Oh, PC. Well, I don't have any PC games, but okay.
I have the
Okay.
PC version of that game too.
I know
So,
that one I have two copies of.
yeah, so I thought that was fun. Oh, I have two copies of so many things.
Oh, yeah. No, no. The two copies. Yeah. Forget about it.
Yeah, so those are the first two I thought I would bring up.
All right.
Yep.
I'm gonna start with one because there's a couple of games I have like that are just astronomical, almost as far as the number of games. But I'm gonna start with one actually because you in a series that you purchased a game for while you were up north. And this one I'm grouping together for GTA 3, GTA San Andreas, and GTA Vice City.
Oh, okay.
So I remember purchasing them individually on the PS2 because that was my go-to for the longest time. That my go because
Right.
PS2 was amazing. Then later on, they came out on Xbox, and I remember they came out in a not even a compilation, just a two-pack, like
Mm-hmm.
separate, separate covers. You know what I mean, or whatever
Okay.
you call cases, separate cases. And then a trilogy for the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it on Xbox then. Then I bought it again on the PS4.
Oh.
So yeah, so that one, and again, they really didn't change anything over all those iterations. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I think one of them might have actually had some sort of downgrade in the quality of video or something.
Oh,
But
interesting.
yeah, that's the first one that really popped out to me because I remember because then when the new definitive collection came out
Mm-hmm.
a couple months ago, I was like, I'm like, no, wait a minute, I have these games, and I'm pretty sure I still have multiple copies of the other systems. So, but yeah, no, GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City, over those systems. And what's funny is like with PS2 and Xbox, which is
Mm-hmm.
almost, I forget if they're the same generation. I want to say yes. But and it was weird for me to go to from PS2 to Xbox. That
Mm.
personally I always found weird.
Well,
But
yeah. I mean, I can understand that.
yeah,
All
so
right, cool. Yeah. Oddly enough, I actually double checked to make sure I didn't have multiple GTAs, but um, I have one copy of. I think four was the last one I needed. I think I have
okay.
one copy of every GTA game.
I might be missing GTA 2 because I
Uh,
originally had it on
oh, you
GameCube.
know what? No.
Dreamcast.
Now that I think about it, I may be missing two as well. Because I have one on PlayStation, because I have the greatest hits version of
Okay.
GTA 1.
Do you have GTA London 1969?
No, I don't.
That was like the first
So
DLC, kind of
that's
sort of.
right. No, I do.
Yeah.
I definitely do not have that. All
Well, you
right.
got work cut out for you.
I do. All right. Here's a game that I found really interesting on my list of games that I have multiple copies of. And when
Okay.
I say multiple, I was surprised I had three copies of this, but then I
Mhm.
remembered why I have three copies of it.
Okay.
So Dragon's Lair, I own.
Wow. Okay.
So I bought the version that limited run released
Mm.
for
Oh,
PS4,
that's right. I forgot about that.
right? So it was a three pack. It was Dragon's Lair, the sequel, and Space
Space
Ace,
Ace.
right? So
Darn.
and oddly enough, the way that I own these games actually wound up, I
That
think,
wasn't
kind of
Space Ace.
backwards.
Yeah.
So I bought Dragon's Lair. I bought the collection for PS4 because I did not have Dragon's Lair, like a
Mm.
physical copy. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Then I found a copy of Dragon's Lair for Sega CD, so I picked that up.
Oh, that's a rough one, I think, with the load times.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but I wanted it in my
No, of
collection, so
course. Yeah.
I have it on Sega CD.
Hmm.
Then when I was on my cruise to Alaska last year,
Hmm.
and I went into whatever their version of Goodwill was up there. I don't remember what kind. It might have been a
Hobby
Salvation
Lobby.
Army. No, it might have been it might have been a Salvation Army.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
probably it's American, so
yeah.
yeah.
Or or it was like fish and donations.
Yeah.
You can buy, everyone gets a
You buy.
everybody gets a free carp with purchase. So, um, so I went into Salvation Army there, and I found a PC copy from 2000
Okay.
of, I don't know if it's all three of them. It's definitely Dragon's Lair and Dragon's Lair 2. I don't know
Okay.
if Space Ace is on it. It might be.
Mhm.
So I have three copies of the Dragon's Lair games as well.
Okay. Okay. Fair
So I
enough.
was just like, wow, I was like, this is cool for a game. I mean, I love the arcade game. I
Mm.
loved it. And I finally got to beat Dragon's Lair while playing it on the
You
PS4.
you did, yes.
Did I do a
You did a
live
live.
stream? I
Yep.
did a live
Yep.
stream of that. Yeah. That took me like a good hour. And then the second one I haven't really played through yet. So
All
Dragon's
right.
Lair is another one in my collection.
Very cool.
Hmm.
I should have started with this one just to get it out of the way because this is the one that kind of started almost the conversation.
Hmm.
Ikaruga, an amazing,
Oh, yeah.
amazing shoot 'em up, where like it actually like you change the color of your ship, depending on the color of the enemy ships and the bullets that come towards you. It's a and it is a shoot 'em up bullet hell type game,
Hmm.
but it is amazing. Um, I have it on three systems. On the GameCube is where I originally got it,
Okay.
and then I bought it again on the 360. And then for some reason, this is why I have over 460 Switch games because I still have the 360 version. Actually, I think I still have the GameCube version, but like,
Oh, wow.
it's on Switch. Let me go use it for Switch. So
Of
I bought it
course.
on Switch as well. Which I'm happy I bought on Switch because I have one of those. Oh, I used to have it down here. I bought one of those peripherals or stands for the
Hmm.
Switch that turns it into Tate or Tate mode.
Uh-huh.
And Ikaruga on the Switch is designed where you can change the ratio of the screen and play it in that mode.
Oh,
So you
okay.
really get like the original feel of the game. But still, yeah,
That's
that
cool.
was like the one, like I said, that's kind of started this conversation. So Ikaruga,
Yes.
I got it, and I'm pretty sure I still have the GameCube version as well. I got to double check.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a big one for
All
me.
right. Cool. My next one, I'm going to group two again. I'm going to
Okay.
group two together. This is the inevitable board game collections.
Ah, nice.
The board game collections, because I am a big board gamer.
Hmm.
And I talk about that every so often. But video game wise, I still buy board games, even though, they're board games. It's still
Yeah,
nice to play them as a video game because it's easy cleanup. There's none.
that's true.
So there are two board games that I have multiple copies of. One is Monopoly,
Okay,
which I have on Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, and PlayStation 5. Surprisingly enough, I don't have the NES one, which I thought I did.
that's the one I used to have.
That's the one I used to have as
Yeah.
well, but I don't think I don't have it. So
Hmm.
now I'm like, okay, I gotta pick that up on my next run. And then
And
the
quite
other,
a jump from Super Famicom, then you waited to the PS5.
yeah, which
You
is
would think you would
weird,
have picked
right?
it up
Or
somewhere in between.
I think it's PS4 actually that
Still,
I have it
PS4,
on.
PS5 is all the same game at
Yeah,
this point. Yeah.
well, you know
They're going
what?
out of
I'm trying
business,
to
so it
think.
don't matter.
What? Um, yeah, I don't know if I ever got it on like a compilation on
Hmm.
another thing. Like I may have. I'm just not 100% sure.
All
But
right,
those are the ones that I know that I have. And
cool.
then the other board game is obviously Clue.
Yes.
I have four versions of Clue.
Wait, what other versions? Yeah.
I have Super Nintendo,
Okay.
Genesis,
Ah, okay.
the new PS5 version that just came out,
Hmm.
and then the one on the Switch.
Okay, gotcha.
So I have four versions of Clue. I'm pretty sure there was another. I may have, no, you know what?
You have one on PS1?
There's a Hasbro Game Night collection that came
Oh,
out.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I was never able to find it because it was like the most elusive one. It was like volume 3 or something that
Okay,
had Clue on it.
gotcha.
And I still need to get my hands. I should be making a list of things to buy. Now I'm just gonna go shopping after
This is
this.
why you go back and listen to the show. I'll send you a clip of it.
Yeah, no, thanks.
All right, not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah,
Another one from the classic, because the ones that repeat tend to be the ones from like our childhoods and stuff like that,
of course.
from back in the day. Sonic Adventure, and I'll link this with Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
These two originally came out on Dreamcast. I mean, it made the Dreamcast. Sonic Adventure 1 was
Unbelievable.
Amazing, dang near perfect. Sonic Adventure 2, apparently, I think they're pulling some of that story for
The
Sonic 3, the
movie.
movie.
Nice.
So I had it on Dreamcast.
Okay.
Then when that died, they re-released them on the GameCube, which
Oh,
were
that's
really
right.
good. And then I ended up buying them again digitally on the PS3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was the collection I went with. Almost bought them again on the 360 recently.
Hmm.
Um, because I had a copy of Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, but
Hmm.
I never knew this grew. We talked about it before. We're not going to go into detail, but I totally was unaware that uh, there was an issue with Sonic Adventure discs working with Dreamcast. Like not every game worked in the system. There was an issue
Oh,
or something,
really? I didn't know
and I
that.
and I bought like one or even two of them, and they just don't boot up in the system. There's
Oh,
nothing wrong with the game; they'll boot up in other Dreamcast systems, like I
just
guess
not
other
yours.
models. Yeah, it's not mine. But so I was gonna buy it on 360, and then I'm like, wait a minute, let me just make sure I don't own this somewhere else. And then that's when I went through I booted up, like dusted off the PS3, booted it up. A plume of smoke came out the back of it. And
Nice.
then that's when I realized actually there's a bunch of games I have on there digitally as well. So yeah, so Sonic Adventure 2, cross those. Of course, nothing is like the original, nothing's like the original in any of these. But
Hmm.
with the Dreamcast special, because remember, you were able to play like the almost like the Tamagotchi
On
game
the
on
VMU.
the VMU, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was never really, you couldn't replicate that in the other ones.
No, you
So
definitely couldn't.
and what I think I'm gonna add one more because there is another Sonic game I want to talk about.
Okay.
Sonic CD. And
Ah,
Sonic CD, I've definitely owned a bunch of versions. The Sega CD original version.
of course.
I will include this one. This is really the only one I think I included on a compilation. The Sonic Gems collection. It was on
Mm,
there. And then I bought it again on the 360, but then like it stopped working. Not like they
mm.
pulled it. It just the file got
Just
corrupted or
didn't work
something like
anymore.
that. And then I got it again on Origins. So that
Okay.
was actually four and I'm not even counting the Genesis Mini 2 that it's on. So, but
Oh yeah,
yes,
no, I didn't count any of the minis in any of these
no,
collections
of
because
course,
if
but
we
I'm just
did
saying,
that, it
yeah.
would yeah.
But yeah, so Sonic,
That's cheating.
along with along with Mario, Sonic has really found its way over multiple systems for me
Hmm.
over the years. So,
Yeah, oddly enough, Sonic for me, I honestly think, with the exception of like Sega Genesis collection and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that, I think I've only purchased each Sonic game once, the
yeah.
ones that
Okay,
I did own. I don't
there you
think I
go.
ever got them for another console, except for like some type of compilation that it
Yeah,
happened to be on.
yeah. So,
So,
all right,
all right,
cool.
cool. Next one I'm gonna throw out is it's a Mario game, so I'm throwing a Mario game out
That's
there, but
okay.
it's
All
not,
right.
but it's not the other.
The
It's
original.
actually no, it's Super Mario RPG.
Okay.
When going through my collection, I just realized I was like, we know the new Switch version came out, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
have, and I
Mm-hmm.
played through. The I have the original Super Nintendo version,
Yeah.
which was actually a gift from you. Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
But then I also forgot I bought the Super Famicom version when I was in Japan.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
that's
have
right.
three copies of Super Mario RPG, one of which I can't play because it's in Japanese.
Well, you play
Well,
the
I can play it to a point until you get
yeah.
to the quiz
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting
in the
about the quiz.
story.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
quiz in the story. At that point, I'm done.
This is what that look nowadays. There's no excuse anymore. You prop your phone up right in front of the television
Yes.
screen. You get the translator app, and you go to town.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm good.
All right, not bad, not bad.
Yep.
For me, this is a game that was just so there was no need for me to repurchase this three times,
Okay.
but I just did anyway. Shadow of the Colossus, great game.
There are three of them.
There is, and really, it was
I mean, I love it. I played the PS4 remake and I loved it.
it's basically Sony taking a page out of Nintendo's book and like, well, we have a new system, so might as well spit this game out again on the
Mm.
system. So I bought it originally on the PS2. Just again another dang near perfect game.
Hmm.
It got re-released on the PS3. That was more like a remaster. So I picked it up on that, and then they re-released it again on the PS4. And again, nothing's really changing. There's
No.
no graphical changes other than, the polishing, but they're not like adding anything to it or an additional
No,
storyline.
definitely not.
Exact same cookie cutter game. And then
But
I
a great
purchased it
game
again on
nonetheless.
100%, but then I purchased it on the PS4 and I sit here and I always go, come on, put it out for the PS5. Put upgrade it to the
That
PS5.
way you just want to keep buying it.
Let me go one more. Well, hopefully it'll be a free upgrade for
Well,
PS5
that's
and
also,
PS4.
but that
But
honestly, like to me, I mean, it's a beautiful game. The remake is
gorgeous.
gorgeous. But that was the kind of game where it's like I played through it once. I can't see myself playing through it again.
Oh, one of the criterias of my list, I don't think I completed most of these games. This is just
That's fair.
me repurchasing games for the
Right.
sake of buying them.
Got it. Okay. See,
So,
when I repurchase, I make the attempt to at least play through.
yeah, I mean, I've played them, but definitely,
Yeah.
I'd never beaten Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
So, in fact, every
So,
time I bought a new version of it, I think I played it less. I don't think I've touched the PS4 version.
wow. Okay,
And
that's the one.
it's still a lot.
I played through the PS4 version. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. All right, cool. Let's see. Moving on to this was a fun one just to put down to know
Mhm.
that I actually have 3 copies of this. But Parappa the Rapper. Now
Hey, look, you love that game.
I
I
love that
know.
game. I love that game for the half an hour of enjoyment it gives you. I bought this originally on the PlayStation 1 and I still have that copy and I'm very proud of my copy there. But then I also bought the Japanese PlayStation version when I was in Japan.
Okay.
So I have it for PlayStation Japan.
Hmm.
And then I also downloaded the PS4 version when it came out
Yes.
because it was a twofer. It came with the sequel that I never bought, which was Unjammer Lammy. I'm
Unjammer
sorry,
Lammy.
there was that, and then there was also Parappa the Rapper 2, which I never owned.
I keep forgetting about that one.
I always forget
I
about
know
that too.
Unjammer Lammy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I downloaded them because I wanted to play Parappa
Okay.
the Rapper 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I own 3 copies of Parappa the Rapper, which let's be frank, nobody should own 3 copies of that game.
There's a lot of games that should not have been bought multiple copies, but
Oh
I
yeah,
could
no, I mean, how many times can you play Clue? Well, for me, 10,000, but you know.
very good. Another one that I've bought again, and it's when I looked at the list, I was like, wow, I really have it this many times. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Wow.
Again, I had the original
Yep.
game, phenomenal on the PlayStation 1. Then I remember buying it. It was a Castlevania. Oh, I forgot the name of it, but it was on the PSP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so another great version of
I was
that.
gonna say, where's the third one? It was PSP.
Then I purchased it on the 360 when it came out on
Oh,
360 because the 360 did offer a slight graphical upgrade. So I'm like,
right.
okay, let's go with that. And then I purchased it. Now, hear me out when I say this. I purchased it on the PS3, but it's the PS1 version of Symphony of the Night for the PS3 because you were
Oh,
able to buy PS1 games digitally on the PS3.
okay. Yeah, even though you could have played your PS1 version on it, right?
Well, the original model I had,
The
yes, but
original
when I
model,
got the
yes.
slim models,
Got it.
then that
Okay.
was no more.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So, but I did because actually, so that's 4 systems. And I remember when I went to go back and play Symphony,
Well,
right,
wait a
replay,
minute.
yeah,
Then you have it on 5 systems, don't you?
was the fifth one.
Didn't you buy the Castlevania? Isn't it on the not the
Oh,
Castlevania
I don't
Anniversary Collection, the
the
other one that
Requiem.
yeah, with
I don't
Rondo of
have that.
Blood? Oh, you didn't buy that.
No, I don't have that because I have Rondo of Blood on my Wii. So I don't know
Okay,
why
got it.
because it totally goes against our topic today. But I'm like, I already own Rondo of Blood. Why would I buy a second copy of that? So
The-
there's no need to
Oh,
buy
I don't
Rondo.
know because you have 4 copies of Symphony of the Night. Why
Look,
wouldn't you? But why wouldn't you buy it at that point? I
I
mean, that's
never
the whole.
never said it
I
made
think that
sense.
I think the title of this episode should be "We Waste Too Much Money."
No, it's all good. It's all worth it. More. We need
All
more.
right.
But
Yeah,
yeah, those are the 4 I got. And when I bought the 360, I was gonna say when I went to go and play it, I thought it had a rewind feature on it.
Mm.
And it don't. And I was like already committed to it. So I'm like, dang, all right, let's go through
That
this on
stinks.
360. So
Yeah, I went through my Castlevania list, and the most I have are 2 copies because of the anniversary collection. So
okay,
that did not make my 3 or more list.
fair enough.
Well, the next one I'm gonna throw out is another heavy hitter. We're talking Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
So the OG Zelda, I have 3 copies.
Okay.
That I know of. I have the original NES version.
Okay.
I have the Famicom version,
Oh, okay.
in box too, which
Ooh,
makes me very
fancy,
happy.
fancy.
And then I have it on the GameCube with that
Yes,
Zelda, Zelda collection,
yes.
which you probably have sitting behind you. Now, oddly enough, the franchise that I have the most multiple copies of games,
Mm-hmm. Is
not
what
oddly
Anthony's
enough,
talking about.
the promotional disc, which came with Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask.
Yes,
So, what I was saying is Legend of Zelda is the series that I have the most multiple copies of. So in
makes
other words,
sense.
like aside from the first one, um Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, which by the way,
Should
I
not
only
have been bought multiple times.
well, I have it on the GameCube on that collection,
Yep.
but then I have the Famicom Disk System version. I don't have the NES one.
Really?
And
Wow.
I need to rectify that immediately. But I have two copies of Adventures of Link, two copies of Ocarina of Time, two of Majora's Mask, two of Skyward Sword,
Hmm.
two of Twilight Princess, and two of Link to the Past.
What's your second Link to the Past?
The Super Famicom version.
Oh, okay. I keep forgetting about that. Okay.
Yeah. So I have
All
two
right.
of all of those. The one that I don't have two of that I need to get the second one for is Wind Waker. I don't have Wind Waker HD
Oh, on the Wii U. Oh
on the
my
Wii
God.
U,
It was so. I mean, to
which I have to get. I
they
have to get my hands on.
really updated that to use like that is one of the best games to where you take control with the gamepad. Oh my
Yep.
God, is amazing.
Yeah, I know. I need
Never
to.
got far in it, but it's
I
amazing.
do need to get that one for
Yeah.
sure. And I also don't have I think did they do a Twilight Princess on the Wii U?
I do not. They always like ended.
I'm trying to remember.
It's like they always put
No,
one out at the end of a life cycle of the prior
yeah.
system, and then like the
Yeah, because
new.
Twilight Princess I have on Game I have the GameCube and the Wii version. And then
Okay,
Skyward Sword I have the Wii version and the Switch version.
okay.
Because I don't know if that came out on Wii U.
I know Breath of the Wild came out on Wii U.
Breath of the Wild, I don't have the Wii U version. I just
Oh,
have
interesting.
the Switch one so far.
I mean,
Yeah.
you might as well have two piles of poop.
No, that would be two Virtual Boys. So
Wow. To link them together to play an amazing multiplayer game.
yeah,
Yes,
to
you're
link them
right.
together to a giant piece of poop.
I got one more before we hit, I think, the big one that we're
Yeah,
waiting to talk about.
and then I'll give an honorable mention
Go for
before
it.
we hit the big one. No, no, no. Go ahead. Do
Okay.
yours.
Dead Rising. Again, when I was going through my
Oh
list,
yeah,
I didn't realize so many, and I'm not even going to get into the sequels because I
a
think there's a
lot of
couple of
versions of
ones.
that game.
But original 360, and then
Hmm.
on the PS4 and the Xbox Series X. So I don't even remember. They might have been again like a Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
So I might be I'm not remembering correctly, but I was kind of shocked how many copies of Dead Rising I do have. So that was just more like a quick mention.
Okay.
Because when I was going through the list, I was just writing everything down. But yeah, so I got those,
All
and I don't even
right.
know if I still have the original 360 because that was a good version of
No,
it.
that's fair. And
That's where
then
my save is.
just flipping through my list, I'll do
Yeah.
one honorable mention for this is a twofer that I have.
Hmm.
I think this one is more the why do I have two of them than anything else. But I was just very surprised when I found that I have two copies of Spider-Man the movie video game, the first movie, the Sam
Okay.
Raimi,
Yeah,
Tobey
yeah.
Maguire one. For some odd reason, and I must have gotten it in like some type of like, remember when I was doing the that retro game
Oh, the
mystery
box?
box?
Yes, yes, yes.
I must have gotten it in one
I
of
still
those
get
because
emails from them.
yeah, the, retro game treasure, I think the name of it
Something
was.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I must have gotten it there because I remember buying the PS2 copy of that game. I have no idea how I got the GameCube copy, but I have it. So that's one of those. Why do I have to?
Okay.
But anyway, let's get to the big one.
All right. Start with yours. And we're
Yeah.
going to talk about this is Super Mario Brothers. Now
So
you linked you no pun
well,
intended.
no,
You put
because
yours
I
together.
have all three of them on. I have all three of them collectively on the same systems.
Hmm.
So Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers 2, Mario Brothers 3, right?
Okay.
So I have the NES version
Hmm.
for each one. I have the Famicom version for each one. And I think the Famicom versions I have, they may all be in box, which
Ooh,
is great.
nice. I got two of them. Two of the three.
You have two of which one are you missing? The first
I
one?
have one. Oh no, wait.
You
Oh
should
no, I
have
do
all
have all
three.
three because I have the
Yeah.
two
I
is
bought you all three.
no you didn't. I don't think you did.
I thought
I
I
think
did.
I bought
No.
two. I think I bought two on my own.
Super Mario USA? No, I thought I got that for you.
Oh, USA. I'm thinking Lost Levels. No, yeah, I do have USA,
Oh,
not
no, no,
box
no.
though.
I'm not talking Lost Levels. I'm talking
Okay.
USA.
No, I got you. I got you.
Yep. So I have the NES and the Famicom version, and then
Hmm.
I have all three of them on the Super Nintendo on the All Stars game, Super Mario All Stars.
I debated back and forth whether to count that one,
I
to be
debate.
honest with you. Yeah.
I counted it because I realized after going through those three,
Hmm.
I never bought those games again.
Really? All Stars was the last time.
All Stars was the last time I
Okay.
purchased the original Mario Brothers games. The rest of
Okay.
them, the next time I had them available to me was on I guess on the Switch when it was on
Oh,
Nintendo
the thing.
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
I never bought it for any other Nintendo
Very
system.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm only going to focus on the first Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, two and
I mean,
three, yeah, I'm personally. Super Mario Brothers, I have bought 7 times.
that doesn't surprise. I actually thought
So
it was going to be more.
it might be more. I might just be missing something somewhere.
Hmm.
But original NES.
Okay.
And I debated over this one. It almost was six, but I'm like, let me just go with seven. Game Boy Color, Super Mario Brothers DX, they released on the Game Boy Color.
That's right.
Um, Game Boy Advance, they released like an NES series on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Then it was probably the first game I bought on the Wii Virtual Console.
Okay.
Then I bought it again on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Of course you
Reason
did.
reason being, it didn't copy. I could have just simply copied the Wii because the Wii was backwards compatible with the Wii U.
Yep.
But for like $1.50, you were able to repurchase any virtual console game you bought on the Wii. You could have bought again on the Wii U, like to have it localized on the Wii U.
Right.
I guess in my head, I was just moving on to another system. But
Okay.
no, now so that's all right. So there. Then the Famicom
Right.
version. Then the Game and Watch that came out for the
Oh,
anniversary.
right.
Game and Watch. So you actually have
Oh,
Zelda
okay.
then.
Yeah,
So
so then
yeah,
I have Zelda and Mario on the Game and Watch.
yes. So but seven, and that's at least I again, like I said, I am sure I'm not counting the Switch version. I'm
You're
sure
not
I
counting the
have
Super Nintendo one either for All Stars.
I'm not counting All Stars. I'm not counting on Animal Crossing for the GameCube and probably other versions I can't think of right
Well,
now.
that's more of a bonus. You didn't buy Animal Crossing for Super
Oh,
Mario
I
Brothers.
did. I bought Animal Crossing purposely to unlock the NES
Okay, then that counts.
game.
That counts.
So
That's
we can push it
eight.
up to eight then.
Well, that's and nine if you count All Stars. Because think about it. If you bought All Stars, the reason why I counted All Stars is the only reason for purchasing All Stars was to play the NES Mario games because it didn't have a new game on it.
No, but it was the reason
Well,
why I didn't
except for Lost Levels. If
Lost
you count
Levels
Lost
for us,
Levels,
yeah.
yes.
But to me, like I just didn't count it because it was such a graphical changeover. Like
I
like
see.
like Shadow of the Colossus, almost like if you put the three of them next to each other, short of like seeing pixels on a PS2, not pixels, but you know what I
Hmm.
mean, like the
Yeah.
polygons on a PS2, where like it was such a jump.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I didn't count. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condemning you. I'm just saying that's the only reason why I didn't list it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
still, going through my list for Super Mario copies of Super Mario Brothers, definitely
Man.
it's got to be probably the number one game that I've purchased over and over again.
Oh, I knew that it would be. I definitely knew that it would be.
And in a
Um,
way, we can both count the Switch Online because you have to pay for Switch Online to get access to those NES
yeah, but you're accessing again,
games.
but it's also
I know,
accessing a
yeah.
compilation.
So,
I also
um,
just realized WWF Raw. I had three copies. I don't have one of them anymore.
so now you down to
But
two. Now you're losing
yeah,
copies.
no. I traded it in a long time ago. But I had the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and the 32X version
That's another one. I don't know if you can count the Super Nintendo and the Genesis because they were different rosters.
on
It's almost
Raw.
like different.
No,
Oh, Raw. No, I'm sorry.
not Royal
I'm
Rumble.
thinking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Royal
Raw.
Rumble. Yeah,
Raw
Raw's
had
different.
the same
Yeah,
exact roster,
yeah. Except for the 32X.
except for the 32X, who had one extra that I
All
had to
right,
go
we
out
got the
and get.
32X. We need to throw one extra character. We can fit one extra character in.
Oh,
Who do we pick?
let's use one of our top stars in the company. Nah, his pixels won't fit. Put Quang in there. Okay.
Oh well. All right. Look, I think for the most part, some of the games that we've repurchased over the lifetime of systems, again, in my feeling. If you love the game so much, you always want to, have it on that newest system. Keep that fresh coat of paint on it.
Of
And I'm sure a
course.
lot of people out there have repurchased games over and over again. So definitely, give us a shout out. Let us hear. Let us know. Show us. You can send us again. Interact. Thunder. Oh, excuse me. Thunderdome Gaming One. Brisley put up his Master System collection. Put a
Hmm.
picture up on our Facebook page. So definitely interact. And where can they hit us up on social media?
You guys can hit us up on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter
X.
at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify at Retro Gamers Podcast, or you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
All right. With that,
Larry,
yeah.
before we move on,
Oh, okay.
how did neither of us have Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man on our list?
Because that is probably astronomical. And I
Mhm.
don't think I got to the P's.
Oh, you didn't get that far. Because I was going to say, I would have sworn you would have had a duel between Ms. Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers.
Ms. Nowadays, probably right off the top of my head, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The big
At least.
giant one that has a glaring error on it.
Oh,
That I
you
haven't been
mean
able
my
to
high
fix.
score?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they'd probably rivals.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm including like Ms. Pac-Man Maze Madness that has a version of Ms. Pac-Man on
Of
it.
course.
So yeah, that
All
probably.
right.
But
Fair
yeah, I
enough.
didn't get that far into the list. So
Okay.
even though I did get
Fair.
to Shadow of the Colossus.
Fair,
So
fair. All right.
all
Let's move
right.
on.
Well, speaking of which, let's get to game of the week.
All right. We are on
Yes.
Game of the Week, and it was your turn this week
So Journey to Silius
for the NES.
for the NES, originally on the NES.
Originally on the
Yes,
NES.
and it is available on the Nintendo Switch, which I'm pretty sure Ant was the way you played it.
That is the way I played it because
Yep.
I don't own it any other way. So full disclosure, I only got an opportunity to play it right before we recorded
As long as
our
you got to play it.
podcast.
Yep.
So no, so I did. I put in a decent amount of time just to get a feel for the game.
Hmm.
Um, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't that enamored with it. I thought, again, I mean, it felt like, you know what it, I guess having not played it before, let me put it out there,
Hmm.
never played it before. It felt like a dozen other side-scrolling games I've played before.
Okay.
So I wasn't really, there wasn't anything that jumped out at me that made me think, oh, this is unique in some way that made me want to
Hmm.
really play through it. Granted, had I played this as a kid, I think I would have absolutely loved it. Just because, just a cool
Hmm.
side-scrolling game. But otherwise, like the graphics were fine, the gameplay is fine. I like the fact that you get different guns. Now, I only made it to the second level, and then
Okay.
I kind of just stopped there. But but like yeah, like I said, I was like, it was just kind of one of those games where I'm just like, okay, this exists. I'm chugging along in it. Um, I thought, what was the one thing that I was a little what I was a little confused with, and I didn't get an opportunity to figure it out. When enemies drop charges that look like they belong in Mega Man.
Yeah.
Like they drop a
Yeah.
blue
Yeah.
blue
Yeah.
power cell, pink power cell, something like that. I would go pick them up. And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, this will recharge my machine gun. This will recharge my energy." They didn't do anything.
Well, you probably were maxed out then.
No.
Well, then you
No.
have a glitch in your game because they
Well, but
definitely
that
worked
was
on mine.
right, but that was the Switch Online version. So when I was playing the Switch Online version, I would pick up these items and they wouldn't give me any extra health or extra ammunition. And I'm like, well, I know there's something wrong if that's happening because they have to do something.
I think
So
you were just looking at it wrong because granted, it doesn't like refill a lot, especially the pink health ones, which are like they show up
no.
once every like 27 minutes
Oh
when you're
no, I
playing a
know.
30-minute game.
No, I know
So
because I got a pink health one and I only
yeah,
had one bar left
yes,
and I still had one bar after I picked it up.
and then you're doing something wrong.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, so I played through the end of the first level with the helicopter and the
Hmm.
whatever the jumping alien things were
Yep.
cool. Um, Again, it was just one of those things where I just like it was fine, but I wasn't really enamored with it at all. Like it's like if I played through it once, that would probably be it for me. But I don't see myself going back to it.
Okay, well, it's just meant to play. That's all.
Yeah, no,
Just
it was
meant to have
just
a fun
no,
time.
it was just meant to play. It was
Yep.
like it was like a slower space Contra. I guess would be the way I would describe it.
Interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
And you get to keep the weapons you find.
Yes, thank goodness.
Yes,
And
that part was okay.
I'm certainly not expecting to woo the hardest person on the planet to woo. So, but at least you got to play it, and you got some sort of enjoyment until you tried to refill your power. I don't know what happened
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And then I was just like, hey, what gives here?
So full disclosure, I discovered this on a friend of mine had a hacked NES Mini. Like when it
Hmm.
first came out, and everyone started, booting them up with like all the entire system and everything like that on there with all the NES games. So
Right.
I was playing it. He's like, "Yeah, try this game called Journey to Silius." I never heard of this game before that. Never saw the game. Never played it originally when I was a kid. So I'm playing through it, and yeah, I was all right. This is actually a really cool game. It's just fun to play. Which is why I was really excited when it dropped on the NES library on the Switch. I was like, that's awesome. This is a great pull. People are gonna have fun with this game. Almost everybody.
Almost.
So I was like, all right, cool. And I've played it a few times. And then, like I mentioned last week, it was when I purchased the Sunsoft collection on the Evercade. It's on there. And that's the version I played. And that's the version you're gonna see when we put up our game of the week play
Great.
on Thursday, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Check it out on YouTube. So I played the Evercade version, and I really got to play this one. I actually sat down and played. I got to level. I don't want to give anything away, but I guess by me saying that means I didn't beat it. But things could change after this recording, so who knows? Um, as another fun reason I picked this game and to play this game is when you realize what the game originally was supposed to be. And as you play through the game, especially when you get to level 3,
Hmm.
oh man, does it really make sense where they were heading with this? Uh so much like how Donkey Kong originally was supposed to be,
Popeye.
there you go.
Yep.
This game was supposed to be based on the Terminator movie.
Yes. I remember you mentioning that
Yes.
off, when we weren't
Yep.
recording.
And Sunsoft just lost the license. So they're like, all right, well, let's just continue moving on with this game and
Yeah.
we'll move forward with it.
And makes sense.
It totally makes sense when you start playing it. Not, I'm, they changed the story a little bit, but, you play through it. When you get to level 3, though, you're pretty much running into Terminators. like
Nice.
they didn't change nothing about and they're just regular regular characters in the level. It's not like a boss
Yeah.
character, but
Well, I thought,
they're
yeah,
Terminators.
but wasn't level two also like well, no, that was probably too far out, but oddly enough, like if you look at the ones in level two and then you look at the future Terminator movies, it was like the T-100. It looked like the little tank version of the Terminator.
Oh, the tank, maybe, yeah, a little bit, but I'm talking the outright up walking
Oh yeah, the
Terminators, the
Terminators.
T-800s or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and there was oh, I can't remember it now as I'm talking. There was something else that's almost like a spitting, like this is just from, they did not change this at all when they were moving on from the Terminator. So you can definitely see that in the game, which I think is awesome.
Okay.
And there's tons. I mean, that's another one we can talk about one day. Games that originally were heading with license got pulled, and then they changed it at the
And
last
then they
minute.
made it something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
cool topic. Maybe next week.
Beyond that, no, I already got a topic next week. It wasn't even my choice. So,
Okay, that's true.
so that's another reason why I like this game, just the history of the game. And beyond that, it's just to me, it's just a fun side scroller. You're right, switching through the guns and everything like that. I definitely enjoy the replay value of the game.
Okay.
And as like I said, you'll see my gameplay this coming Thursday. So it was a complete random pick for
Yep.
game of the week. And hopefully some people out there, we got some likes on it. Enjoy Journey to Silius. What this game could have been if it was Terminator, because you got to imagine you were probably playing as John Connor.
Yes.
In fact, isn't the character's name J McCrae, John Connor? So they changed enough of it.
Okay.
But nevertheless, great hit. Again, you can play it on the Switch. And
Nice.
playing it on the Evercade, I got to admit, as much as I play a lot of the Evercade, but I don't play long on the Evercade. Like I jump
Okay.
around different games. This was the first one I actually sat down with, and
Oh, nice.
again, it's just how amazing the Evercade is. And I didn't realize this when you go into it. Like when you go to click on a game, when you read the description, if you click more on the Evercade home screen, it
Hmm.
does give you a very small history of the game as
Okay.
well. And like they couldn't get outright say terminated, but like, well, this game started off as a 1980s blockbuster movie. So nevertheless, Journey to Silius, fun game. Definitely check it out if you have it. And that was this week's game of the week.
Very nice.
And with that, Ant, it is now your choice.
It is my choice to pick game of the week, and as you know, Larry, but other people don't, and I will say it right now, I will not be here next week.
What?
So I will be traveling again, but I'm traveling a little bit farther than Canada this time. I'll be overseas, and I will not be able to record next week. But
Should have rented than
uh,
owned.
yeah, but our friend Rich
Yes.
has agreed to step in for me. So
Yep.
thank you in advance, Rich. And he is already aware of next week's game of the week that I'm picking for the two of you.
Okay.
So next week's game of the week is going to be coming to you courtesy of the Super Nintendo. I'm going to be
Nice.
playing this as well overseas, so
Oh, okay.
solidarity. The game I selected for you guys to play is Super Punch Out.
Oh, nice.
So Super Punch Out for the Super Nintendo is our game of the week for next
I
week.
am in. I've never actually sat down to play that. Like I
Hmm.
never owned it originally. Okay,
I
cool.
know I never owned it either, which is why it's stuck
Yep.
out for me.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this while I'm traveling. And I'm gonna, give you guys the opportunity to play it as
Awesome.
well.
Sounds good. All right, Super Punch Out, game of the week.
Yes.
All right, with that, let's get into it. News.
We got some retro news, and I'm gonna go through it quickly because I want this show to be less than an hour.
Too
Um,
late.
oh, really? Wow. All right. So, two retro birthdays to speak of. One obscure, one not so much. Both
Okay.
from 1999. The 25th retro birthdays for Power Stone on the Sega Dreamcast. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
that.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And Need for Speed High Stakes for the
Okay.
PlayStation 1. So those are the two retro birthdays I wanted to give a quick shout out to. I
25.
never,
Good Lord.
yeah, I
Oh, not
never owned,
25.
yeah, 25. 99,
69. Oh, yeah,
1999,
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep,
25
yep.
years.
Wow.
And I never owned either of those games, but I remember I wanted Power Stone.
I feel like
Um,
I did have Power Stone.
yeah, so all right, so bunch of news to just a bunch of news to fly through really quickly. One is Punch Out news, which I thought I would bring up. So
Okay.
since I just talked about doing Super Punch Out, apparently a fan-made Super Nintendo port of the original NES Punch Out is underway.
Hmm.
Um, there is again, these are always people that are a bunch of hackers, people online and stuff like that. So there's a ROM hacker expert guy named Infidelity online who has been porting NES games to Super Nintendo
Okay.
for a while now. He's done up until this point Mega Man, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 4, Metroid, The Legend of Zelda, and DuckTales. He has
Interesting.
ported all of them to the Super Nintendo. He has now decided to port Punch Out, the NES version Punch Out. Not
Okay.
sure if it'll be Mike Tyson or not. It'll probably just be Punch Out. But for extra fun online, he posted a teaser trailer for Punch Out where he edited in the Paul Rudd Super Nintendo commercial. If you remember that from back in the day,
Yeah.
Paul Rudd was famously in a Super Nintendo commercial very early on in his career when he was young,
Hmm.
and he interspersed NES's Punch Out into the
That's
commercial,
pretty funny.
and then used a clip of Mike Tyson from The Hangover in the commercial.
Awesome.
It's actually really funny if you go look it up.
Okay.
So I put together a cool little teaser trailer, but there will be an SE. He's going to do a Super Nintendo port of the original Punch Out game, and
Okay.
I'm assuming Mike Tyson will be in it because he put him in the trailer. So it'll be Mike Tyson's Punch Out, is my guess.
I don't think Mike Tyson knows that though.
No, don't tell him.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to this is kind of fun. Capcom's been doing all these wild things because it's their 40th anniversary, right?
Mm.
I downloaded that Capcom Humble Bundle
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
last week with like 71 games or some
Yeah,
crazy number.
I looked into that. That was
You
a bit
didn't pull the trigger.
deceiving. No, it's not that. It's there's 70 games because they're all part of the Capcom arcade collection.
Yeah, but still, but
No, no,
yeah,
no, agreed.
but
I
if you
you're
bought the
right.
if you bought the Capcom arcade collection, you had to purchase those games in it.
True. Or
Like
you buy you unlock all of them at the
yeah,
same
you
time.
have to
But
so
still,
or
yeah.
yeah, but
Marketing at its best.
yeah, but despite the fact you got 71 games for like 20 bucks.
Yes.
Anyway, so Capcom now did something else which is really weird and random. They collaborated with the Japanese clothing line Uniqlo. Do you know Uniqlo?
I feel like we've mentioned them before.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they do some interesting things. So to celebrate Capcom's 40th adventure, they created a web-based game with Street Fighter characters going through the Uniqlo clothing store. It's a side-scrolling game,
Really?
which yes, with cat and there are characters from Street Fighter. It's okay, a retro side-scrolling action game where you run through a Uniqlo store to get back a T-shirt stolen by an alien.
Of course.
And throughout your adventure, characters from Street Fighter also appear.
Okay.
So, and the lead character at a certain point is able to transform into Ryu at some point in the game.
That's awesome.
So there you go. And the that's the first stage. This isn't in March, they're releasing a second stage that's going to be based off of Mega Man.
Really?
So
Okay.
and then there's going to be a third and final stage that will only be revealed on a special mini arcade machine,
Oh boy.
and only 40 of them are
Oh,
going to be made.
well, then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, good.
So there's no news on that one yet. And what is this promoting, of course? Uniqlo is producing t-shirts. They have
Yes.
t-shirts to celebrate Capcom's 40th.
Not bad, not bad.
So
Nice
yeah,
t-shirts.
Street Fighter, Mega Man, Ghouls and Ghosts, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry. There are a whole bunch of t-shirts you can buy at Uniqlo for
Yeah.
Capcom's 40th. So check it out and go on the web, play their game. Okay. Atari's got a couple of things going on. So apparently I missed this, but Atari released a new line of games under the label Atari Presents. Have you heard of this?
No.
So last week Atari launched a brand new label on Steam and
Oh, no wonder why I
GOG.
heard. Okay.
Yeah, on Steam and GOG called Atari Presents. And they're just dropping a bunch of old Atari retro games on it.
Okay.
So 8 games were released so far. Apparently, the article that I read was some of the games are having issues and they're fixing them.
Hmm.
But the 8 games they've released were Gunship and Gunship 2000, Weird Dreams, which was done by Rainbird Software. The reason why I know this game is because it was the very last game I ever purchased for my Commodore 64.
Wow.
And I remember it specifically because I went to I think it was SciSut
The
Computers
one on Avenue U?
on Avenue U and East 21st Street,
Yes,
across the street
yes.
from Blockbuster.
Yep.
They had a copy of Weird Dreams in there, and I bought it, and I never got through the first level because it was just really weird. It took me forever to get out of. The dream happened in you were in a weird amusement park.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, and the first level was to just get out of the cotton candy machine, and I could not do it.
Yeah.
Like I got out of it maybe once.
Yeah, look,
So
that's a giant cotton candy machine.
it's a giant cotton candy machine. So Weird Dreams, Hardball and Hardball 2.
Hmm.
The 3D platformer Zapper One Wicked Cricket, Fl
Okay.
Flight of the Intruder, and then a space flight simulator game called Light Speed.
Wow, these are I mean they're such like you never expect these games. Like what? Like
Yeah, just
I like this list.
yeah, I mean it's just a list of random retro games that you wouldn't expect to be released. Um, and then apparently they're gonna release more. We just don't know what, because
Yeah.
literally they just dropped it out of nowhere. All of a sudden there's just this list on Steam, Atari Presents, and it's like, okay,
Man, I really need to get something that lets me play Steam
there is a Steam Deck that you can purchase that works just like a Wii. Not a Wii, I'm sorry, a Switch, a,
or Wii U.
or a Wii U. So maybe you should get yourself a Steam Deck.
Maybe because these games are so cheap.
Yeah. Well, and that's a cool thing. Well, and that's a cool thing. If you buy a Steam Deck, Larry, you can take advantage of the Humble bundles and then get 70 games for $20.
I already have
Okay.
those games.
All right. Moving on. On top of this news from Atari, there's more news from Atari. Three brand new Atari 2600 games have been found.
Found.
They've been discovered and dumped online by a poster at Atari Age forums.
Okay.
He posted them earlier this month. He published links to these games.
Hmm.
There were actually six of them. Three of them
Okay.
are already up, and three of them are now, like, three of them were up earlier this month, and now another three were up,
Gotcha.
released. Um, the speculation is all of these games were ready to go out, but canceled because of the video game crash of '83.
Okay.
So the name of these games are Cat Tracks with an
Hmm.
X, Funky Fish,
Ooh.
Pleiades, and then the three new ones are this is a coin op game that was going to be released on the Atari called R2D Tank.
Okay.
There's a Frogger type game called Hobo, and then another arcade game called Spiders.
Okay. I mean, they
So
sound like bootlegs of the games you were saying, like a
they
Frogger
do.
type game called Hobo. Some
Right.
guy trying to crush a street.
So if you go to the Atari Age forums and you look for the poster, whose name is, wait, I just saw it. Uh, ah,
And they work for Atari, so you would, it almost feels like they should be considered like first party kind of sort of.
yeah, I know. The poster calls himself Ianoid, Ianoid. So if you look him up on Atari Age's forums, you can download these six games that were
Okay.
made but never released. Okay,
Interesting.
moving on. Contra, Larry. You love Contra. So get ready to spend some money because Konami is releasing a 10 CD box set that contains all the music from Contra.
Really?
Only available in Japan, but
Oh,
it's up for pre-order. Pre-orders are
oh.
now available on Konami's online store called Konami Style.
I've shot from
The
them before.
the 10 CD release will feature music across the Contra series from the 1987 arcade all the way up to the upcoming remake of the original Contra, Contra Operation Galuga,
Oh, Contra OG.
Contra OG.
I just played the demo. It
Yeah.
is amazing.
Well, there you go. You can get yourself a 10 disc CD set.
I will check that out. Quick on a side note, speaking of Contra Operation Galuga,
Yeah.
if you play through the demo
Yep.
on the system you plan on buying the game for, when you play through the demo, it actually unlock it doesn't say what it is, but you unlock something that you will get in the full version of the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it is gorgeous and hard as hell.
As Contra would be.
Oh, I expect nothing less. I
Yeah,
cannot.
that's how it should be.
March 12th cannot come fast enough.
There
All
you
right, I have
go.
to check out these. Hopefully they will release these music CDs
In the
digitally.
US? Oh,
No,
digitally.
yeah, because
Well, we'll see.
I don't have a CD player.
Get one.
No,
You have a whole bunch of physical consoles right back there. They
I'm
would
not going to
some of
listen
the
to my television.
but I'm just saying, like, adding a CD player wouldn't kill you.
It will because
Anyway,
I don't have speakers.
that well, you know what you're getting for your birthday now. Gonna get you.
Don't.
I'm gonna get you a nice Sony Discman.
I'll take a Zune.
I'll get you. Yeah, I'll get you a Zoom.
I did. I bought a Zune. I'm like, who needs this Apple garbage? I'm not getting an iPod. I'm getting a Zune.
How'd that work out? I have two iPods hiding somewhere in this house.
I got to admit though, when I at work, I would use the Zune because it actually had FM radio. This
Oh,
was
nice.
years
Oh
ago,
yeah, I
like
remember.
2007, 2008, and I would listen to like WPLJ at
Yeah,
work.
which is fun.
So that was awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. This past week, five more classic games were released on the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yes, what a lineup.
Yep. So we got five games, two of them for the NES, two of them for the Super Nintendo, and one for the N64 that I've always wanted to play. And I
Okay.
never bought it. And I always wanted it. I remember a friend of mine came over and brought it to my house and I played it. And I said, oh, this is a fun game. And I never bought it. And I should just go get it. All right. So RC Pro-Am and Snake Rattle and Roll for NES.
Very interesting. Never a fan of RC Pro-Am.
Yeah, I liked RC
Though I think I
Pro-Am.
own a copy.
Snake Rattle and Roll reminds me of Marble Madness.
Yes.
The Super Nintendo games, Killer Instinct, and Battletoads and Battle Maniacs.
Yes. After playing Battletoads a couple weeks ago, I've been
Yep,
itching to play the Super, and I've never
there you
played the Super
go.
Nintendo before.
And then last but not least, on the N64 Blast Core, that's
I
the N64
I
game.
think I originally owned Blast Core.
I never owned
Yeah.
Blast Core, but I always wanted it.
Definitely fun game.
So, yeah. So again, I'm making a list
Hey,
because
just to go,
I can
yeah,
add it to my Polymega.
you can absolutely you can. Just to go back just for a second to the Contra music.
Yes.
So pre-orders are available on Konami's online. So, like you said, Konami
Okay.
style, which you cannot access from North America. You
Oh,
have to be, you need,
bummer.
or if you need one of those fancy VPNs that I ain't doing.
That's not cool.
But yeah, no, that's the only way to get this physical CD set. Dang, wonder why. That's weird. All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
beats me.
So,
They don't want the silly Americans buying it and throwing it on eBay.
that's what I will do now.
That's
I
probably
will
what it
get
is.
you. I will get
So,
you.
all right, two more bits of news to throw out really quickly. Okay,
Take your
this
time.
this is a fun one. I don't know if you remember this, but there
Probably.
was a VHS based game system in the 80s. It was called the ViewMaster Interactive Vision.
I feel like I remember hearing about it like later on in life.
Yeah. So the idea behind it is that you would play VHS tapes in it, but they were specially produced,
Hmm.
and then they were all well-known children's properties at the time. And then there was a controller which had a joystick and 5 buttons, and you would take part in interactive
I'm
games.
thinking of something else then. Okay.
So, and some of the and these were all well-known. So we're talking about like Sesame Street, the Muppets,
Oh,
and
nice.
Disney
Oh,
all did VHS versions for this ViewMaster Interactive Vision
hmm.
system. So I'm bringing this up because there's a news article out because they're saying now that this is going to be the next retro console that is going to be emulated.
Okay.
I don't know why, but there was
Sure.
yeah, because a group of archivists,
Hmm.
right? Because there are a lot of archivists now.
Archivists?
They're archivists, whatever you want to call them. I call them archivists. A group of archivists have been restoring these tapes and making them available on DVD MP4 formats
Man, people got time on their
in
hands.
an effort to make these games playable again through emulation. So again,
Okay.
they're trying to preserve them, but by preserving them, they have to make them. You have to make them like an
Yeah, no,
emulator.
of course.
So on, if you go over to archive.org,
Hmm.
um, you will find remasters, high quality remasters of all 7 games,
Oh, wow.
which are Disney Cartoon Arcade, Oscar's Letter Party, Magic on Sesame Street, Let's Play School,
Okay.
Let's Learn to Play Together, Muppet Madness, and Muppet Studios presents You're the Director.
Ooh, I'm in for the Muppets games.
There you go. So you can go watch the videos on archive.org.
Hmm.
But then one of their coders says that they are analyzing them in an attempt to emulate them so you can actually play them.
That's really interesting.
So
Okay.
just really cool, random,
Yeah,
kind of
right.
fun.
Totally random.
Kind of fun. And it's nice to hear about like these random retro consoles that were made for specific purposes
Oh,
that
totally.
that are finding that are getting resurrected in some
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
All right, last bit of news that you, sir, are going to be very happy about.
Oh.
And no, it's not about Tears of the Kingdom. But I am here to tell you that your search for a Vectrex may be over
Oh.
because the Analog Pocket and Mister now have a Vectrex FPGA core.
Really?
Yes.
I am gonna have to update my pocket when we're done.
You need to update your Analog Pocket and find yourself the Vectrex.
Wait a minute, is the list on the thing then?
I don't know. The Vectrex
Um,
FPGA core is now available for both the Mister and Analog Pocket, which you can download here at GitHub. So,
oh yeah, no,
and
GitHub is a place to go. That's
so,
like I think the
so if you
hub.
go, so
Yeah.
if you go to GitHub, you know what? Since we record on says record on Zoom. I just threw it in the chat for you.
Oh, thank you.
You can go download yourself the Vectrex core and play Vectrex games. And now I am
Oh,
jealous because you can play Vectrex and I
I,
can't.
well, this is just the core. God help me. I gotta try and find the games.
Yeah, well, if you do, play some Clean Sweep for me because that was my favorite game.
Will do.
And that
Um,
is all for Retro News.
well, real quick, I want to throw out as well. I think it just
Oh, you got a
happened
bit?
this week. No, nothing major. Just speaking of cores and stuff like that,
Hmm.
the Analog Duo has now been officially jailbroken. So you can now update the Duo just like all the other analog systems to
Nice.
play the library of TurboGrafx and Turbo CD games.
Ooh, very
So
nice.
yep, and from the same site, GitHub. So definitely check that out. I'm sure, trust me, if you've hacked the prior systems, you know where to go. But I just want to throw it out there because I'm debating whether or not to do it. I kind of like keeping it fresh and on its own. And that
Mm,
damn light still blinks. They have not updated it yet, and it teases me and it mocks me.
put a piece of
So
tape over it.
no, it only bothers me when I'm here. Like here, if I'm in front of it, I don't see it. But in any
Okay,
event,
well, put a piece of tape over it.
they sell tape like that too.
There you go. Problem
All right.
solved.
And with that, we're going to wrap it up. And one more time, where can they find us?
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube at Retro Gamers Podcast. You can watch us on Spotify at Retro Gamers Podcast. And you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
I just found the Vectrex games.
See?
Right.
Done and done.
And with that, Ant, enjoy your travels.
All right, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, and I will see everybody next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.